Hi, YouTube. I am heading home after a tutoring session and homework session with my brother. I wanted to talk today about projections. So this is something that I'm going to cover a lot in the future. I am working on a workshop around this. Understanding projections, like what they are, how they work, and all of that stuff. So, overview. I feel like a lot of people have a negative association with the word projection. Like, oh, you're just projecting. When someone is, and I think in psychology, I know when I learned about it, it was like a mechanism where if like you're blaming somebody else for something that you're doing, or because you feel guilty about something, you get really hot about something, or you feel really ashamed or embarrassed about a particular thing that you're sharing with somebody because of your own feelings. And that is like kind of true, but I think that's a very shallow understanding of what projection is. So for me, what I understand projection as, it comes from like Carl Jung's psychology, I suppose, in terms of understanding the shadow self, understanding the self as a full expression that has been fragmented and fractured. Fractured sounds very dramatic and very like, ooh, but fragmented due to experiences, life experiences. Like every single time your parents tell you no, because yes, boundaries, and yes, you need to learn limits, I suppose, to a degree, but also for safety, to survive, but also when you're denied stuff, you learn a limitation. And so your true authentic self, because you've been taught what is like good behavior, what is bad behavior, what warrants love, what is deserving of like affection, of praise, of validation, and a lot of the time we try to act good. Like most of us, I think, like to believe that we're good people and that we act good and we're nice and we're kind and all the good things. And even when we're like assholes, we like to be like, oh, but like I'm still like at my heart I'm good. That's like the whole thing about BoJack, that he's like but deep down, right? And Diane's like, I don't know if there's a deep down. So there is a deep down, I suppose, I believe, in the subconscious, or the unconscious, which is the other part of you that all that stuff gets pushed aside to. So every time you're denied or whatever, it creates, every action has an equal and opposing reaction. So when something happens, something else happens. There's like a byproduct and another effect that comes from it. And so with yourself being fractured into like your authentic full self being fractured into your shadow self, which is the parts of you that you have disowned, and then your like egoic self, the self of you that you present to the world, mask of sorts, because there's like this disconnect, and it's like you're trying to suppress a part of you, the shadow part of you, or you've ignored it. It's either you've forgotten it, you've ignored it, you've suppressed it. Like it can be active and passive. And because you have done that unconsciously, now that I can park, I can focus. Oh, maybe I should get into some light. This is better. Okay. So yeah, now that you have, there's a part of you that you've disowned, both your powerful qualities and your negative qualities, because it's qualities such as like, I'm too loud. Being too loud is like, an attack thing. So if you don't know time and place, yes. And also being loud is like standing up for what you believe in. So if you disown that part of you, you have put that aside. You're going to, it's not like it's gone. You can't destroy matter. It's not created nor destroyed. It is just transformed. So it comes out in a different way. And the way, because you can't deal with it within, you deal with it outside, with other people. That's how I understand projections. So understanding, this is something I think is very important for us to understand. No one can ever understand truly your perspective, in terms of donning your skin and into your consciousness, becoming you and truly understanding what you're going through, what you're experiencing, what you taste, how you taste, all the things. I can't know that for you. You can't know that for me. I can get very close. There are people who can, like John Malkovich, if you've all seen the movie, like climb into somebody's body and see that for a moment. But even still, it is your experience in that person's experience. You don't, even being John Malkovich, they didn't become John Malkovich. They were him for a little bit. And even when he was him, his consciousness was residing inside of it. So it's not like he embodied his consciousness, you know? So the point of me saying that is your perception is uniquely yours. Everything that you see is a thing that you're dealing with. And I think the simplest way to talk about it with people most is like colors. Like if I see a red, I don't know exactly how your red looks because I don't even know if I could really describe it. Because if I'm describing it, I'm using other things to reference it. And then if, like, for instance, if I say this is like cherry red, and your idea of cherry is different than my idea of cherry, or from different countries, and cherries look different, like, it's different, you know? So the point of that is projections are things that we're dealing with and how we're projecting and understanding the world. It's because it's not solipsism in that like nobody exists except for you, because that's not true. Other people are existing and doing their thing. However, like if I get into a conversation with somebody and I feel like they're judging me, it's probably because I'm judging me. If I get into a conversation and they're mad rude and I think they're mad rude and I'm really offended, like deeply offended by how rude they are, I might need to ask the question of, why am I so offended by like the rudeness? Could it also be that I be rude too? Or could it also be that I let people step all over me? So I'm like upset when other people are rude in terms of standing up for themselves. Is that something that I haven't dealt with like from a parent? So like just like the idea that we have baggages, right? We have emotional baggage with us all the time, and but not so much baggage lenses, because they're how we see through the world, through our experiences have been colored by them. They are colored by them, you know? So that's what I understand about projections. I have a lot of resources that I have learned about and used to better understand projections. So really, really excited to share that. Yeah, so happy Tuesday. I hope everybody has wonderful rest and a beautiful start to their Wednesday. At least this is New York time. And I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah, let me know if you have any thoughts about projections, any questions about projections, what you know about it, how you came to understand it. Appreciate you all. Bye.